Okay, welcome back to Capitol Tonight. Now, I know what you're thinking. This show is supposed to be about hard political news. It's a forum where elected officials are forced to answer tough questions and where you can keep tabs on how state government is operating. So why in the world are we bothering to cover a wedding? Well, the truth is there's actually nothing overtly political about the impending nuptials about the former first daughter, Chelsea Clinton, but the uber exclusive affair is happening right in our backyard, and the entire world is watching, and this is a Friday in the summer, so why not? So for weeks now, there has been speculation that the Hudson River town of Rhinebeck would play host to this quasi-royal wedding. Before long, local leaders and business owners began extensive preparations, not only for the influx of high-profile guests that would soon be gracing their small town streets, but also for the crush of media that would be descending from around the globe. Tonight's Capitol Tonight's Caitlin Ross was among the throngs of reporters who went to Rhinebeck this week, and she has more now on how the residents there are reacting to all the attention.
For this fairy tale wedding, there's certainly a lot of folklore.
We heard 1,000 different things about this wedding. Barbara Streisand, my favorite. Barbara Streisand Brolin, my favorite. She's coming to the wedding, I heard. Oprah Winfrey, who I love, is coming to the wedding. Steven Spielberg is coming to the wedding.
It's like jumping. This joint is jumping.
But of the whole cast of characters, the village is most excited about a certain high-profile public official.
I heard that the President Obama is coming up the Hudson in a yacht, a private yacht.
The president says the first family wasn't even invited to the fancy affair, but residents here think it may have been a plot twist.
We have an itinerary where they might show up and what roads they might be on, so we're traveling back roads.
But every good story has to have a conflict. And here at Astor Court, the actual venue of the wedding is set too far back for anyone to get a casual glimpse at the Clintons. Residents, though, say they plan on getting creative.
So if the president goes by in his ship, his great big yacht, I know, yes, we're calling him in for dinner.
And while that meal may be a long shot, others here are keeping their fingers crossed for an economic shot in the arm.
We have even a sign in our window. We're hoping Oprah will find our soaps and she will love them and get them.
Most of the window signs, however, are for the couple themselves, who have found a haven of support in Rhinebeck.
Of all the places this beautiful young lady could be getting married, she's chosen our hometown.
But has she? Throughout the week, rumors of a Rhinebeck decoy have been afoot, a red herring hamlet for the happily ever after.
Maybe they're throwing us, and it's really going to be railroads. Where else could it be? Red Hook. They're throwing us off, and it really isn't going to show up.
The only ones who know for sure are those holding the coveted Clinton invite. Though at this point, you better not hold your breath.
And we all kind of decided that ours must have gotten lost in the mail.
Mine too. In Rhinebeck for Capitol Tonight, I'm Caitlin Ross.
Well, any doubt that Chelsea's wedding was to be held in Rhinebeck was put to rest today when one unmistakable guest arrived early, and he took a little afternoon stroll down Main Street. Our Beth Krogan is live in Rhinebeck this evening with the latest on what's happening. Good evening, Beth.
Good evening, Liz. It is clear that people are going to be arriving very soon. Shortly after 7, police began blocking off the sidewalk surrounding the Beekman Arms. And as a trooper was moving people back, he said, folks, there are going to be a lot of very famous people here tonight. Now, across the street at the Beekman Arms, there's a table where it looks like maybe guests will be checking in. And there are, like I said, barricades all along the sidewalks. We even saw about a dozen Secret Service in the area, and there were helicopters seen flying overhead. But before now, the only sighting we had was former President Bill Clinton. Bill, are you excited? Yeah? Sure. Is your daughter going to look beautiful?
Thanks. She looks beautiful every day to me.
Now, tons of people are on the sidewalk. Many of them have been here for hours, but all of them have their cameras ready and are looking to get a glimpse of all the activity. Back to you, Liz.
Wow, that is quite a scene. Wow. How many people are out there?
There are people on every single, there's the 4 main corners here in Rhinebeck, and literally there are people surrounding every single corner. They had to put up serious barricades, and you cannot walk near the Beekman Arms right now. All those sidewalks are closed off.
Wow, well, Beth, thank you very much for that update.
Have a good night, Liz.
So Chelsea Clinton's ceremony is being called the wedding of the decade, or at the very least the moment, which may actually be apt if you consider the preparations and the price tag that it reportedly took to pull it off. Rhinebeck residents were forced to sign a confidentiality agreement. Now the FAA is going to be enforcing a no-fly zone above the sprawling Astor Courts estate where the event takes place, and the most recent estimates put the cost of the soiree somewhere between $3 and $5 million. So joining me now to discuss what it might take to organize such an extravagant affair is wedding planner Megan Albright-Barkovich of Total Events in the Capital Region. She is a newlywed herself. Megan, thanks very much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
So you have some experience in pulling off this sort of affair, even right down to the no-fly zone question.
We have. Typically with our Capital Region brides, it's usually a little bit less hush-hush. Everybody wants to know what's going on and they're happy to share it with you. But you know, we have had events where we do have to do confidentiality agreements, and there is a little bit more secrecy involved.
And you actually had an event where the Secretary of State turned up herself.
She was. In June, we did an event in Hyde Park, and she was a guest. Because she was a guest, not many people were expecting her, obviously, to arrive. So the Secret Service did come in the morning. They asked for a list of every vendor that had been there, and they scoured the area, make sure everything was safe for her. But to be honest, she was just kind of a regular guest. She came in, had dinner, and danced the night away.
So that must have been something. So this is really like that one guest times 400 and change guests.
Exactly.
I mean, most of the people are VIPs,
Right.
of the political world, and also the Clintons know some high-profile Hollywood types, like Barbra Streisand, for example. Mm-hmm. How difficult would it be to pull something like that off?
In terms of confidentiality, you know, we've had a little bit of experience with weddings. I'm sure that everybody was contracted pretty far out just so they could get exactly what they needed. Sometimes when we have political officials or celebrities coming into the area, we're only given about 2 or 3 days notice that they're coming just to keep everything under wraps. But just to keep everybody quiet, to get the amount of inventory in, I'm sure that the town of Rhinebeck isn't used to pulling off this kind of a celebrity affair. So it was probably very challenging on their part.
Have you been surprised by the amount of attention? I mean, the Clintons have always been sort of a focus of intense interest. I remember when they moved down to Westchester, it was like a massive stakeout just to see the dog, to see the president, who
Right.
we've seen today on the streets of Rhinebeck. Were you surprised, though, about just the enormous amount of hype surrounding Chelsea Clinton's wedding?
Not really. I mean, when anybody gets married, you know, it's always guessing what are they going to wear and where is it going to be, what kind of style are they going to have. You know, you feel bad for her because she should have her special day and she should have it the way that she wants to without worrying about a million cameras in her face. Right. But, you know, that's the price of fame in this country. And, you know, it's good for her because people do want her to have a beautiful day. You know, the people of Rhinebeck are definitely rooting for her. So I guess it's not as bad as it could be.
Do you also, the price estimate, I mean, $3 to $5 million is enormously high. I mean, we're hearing about a lot of high-end tents and high-end favors and high-end alcohol and all the food, etc. Does this estimate seem correct to you?
It seems a little bit high, but then again, they're flying in professionals from all over the world, all over the country to come and service this event. So that definitely adds to the price tag. I'm sure that they had very specific requests that are not the typical standard rental. But also, you know, prices could be a little bit inflated once they know the client coming in. Things are probably not a second or third time out. They were probably purchased brand new so that they were in perfect condition. So in order to have that kind of perfection, things do cost a little bit more.
Do you expect that there could be a trend from this? Because, you know, on like when Jennifer Aniston had the shag Friends haircut, everybody wanted it. Do you expect that everybody's going to come to you and say, I want the Chelsea Clinton wedding?
A lot of times brides do take a lot of inspiration from things that they see, and they take bits and pieces from different weddings, but I think that they'll definitely learn, you know, what style they like. If they like the restroom trailer, that might be something that they add onto their tent wedding for next season. If they see linens, they might want to copy motifs, but I don't think anybody will want it soup to nuts the same.
Well, they certainly might not want the scrutiny, but I will be following online. I'm sure you will be too.
Absolutely.
I want to thank you very much for coming in, Megan.
Thanks for having me.